Hey guys, welcome to an interesting video on Wild Rift. So today we are back with a Varus supplementary guide on AP Varus. Now I think Varus is probably the best ADC to play right now, and one of the reasons is his build diversity. So we've already taken a look at Lethality Varus. Now we're going to take a look at AP Varus. Now in the works, of course, we are going to have videos on Essence Reaver plus Triforce Varus, and also of course on hit Varus. So let's jump straight into the AP variant of Varus. So first up, despite going for an AP build, you want to start off with Gluttonous Greaves for the early AD and the Omnivamp, as well as Terminus, also giving you AD attack speed, on hit magic damage, stacking resistances, and stacking penetration. So these both are AD items. Right, so but why do you want to go for them? Well, basically, if you go for AP, full AP, you're going to go for first item Nashor's Tooth, second item Riftmaker, and this makes Varus very, very weak because he's fully ult reliant. His auto attacks don't really do very much at the moment, and his abilities don't do very much at the moment. You're fully relying on popping your ult and then W and then queuing someone for the burst damage. So that, while it's really satisfying when you hit it, but if you miss your ult or if you don't have your ult, you're really, really useless. So you want the early game power with the Gluttonous Greaves to kill people in lane, as well as the early game power of the Terminus to tide you over to the AP section of the build. And additionally, Terminus is really good for AP builds as well because you get the stacking magic pen. So this gives you 33% magic pen already just off of Terminus, whereas with AP items it gives you only 7% per item. So to even reach that kind of same amount, you need like 4 AP items to reach the same amount that Terminus can give you. So Terminus is still amazing for an AP build. And then we go for Nashor's Tooth, which gives you attack speed, ability haste, AP/AD, as well as on-hit magic damage. So for now, because you have 2 AD items, Nashor's is going to be an AD item. So Nashor's is not going to be that great at the beginning. However, when you complete your Riftmaker, the 80 AP is going to trump the 35 plus 35 AP, which is 70 on the first 2 items. So this will convert Nashor's into an AP item, giving you 60 AP. So now when you hit your Riftmaker, it's kind of when AP Varus fully goes online. In fact, it's the time when it actually goes online, because before that it's AD, right? So now you're gonna have on-hit magic damage on here, as well as penetration. You're gonna have on-hit magic damage on here, and you're gonna have more vamp as well as more magic damage from here, right? So this gives you 2 ways to play Varus, which is number 1, you have 2 attack speed items, right? So you can, and both of them deal on-hit magic damage. So you can deal damage just from your auto attacks, but you can also just deal damage from popping your blight stacks. So that's why this is the best way to build AP Varus. Then of course, with any AP build, you're going to go into Death Cap, which of course is going to just increase your AP tremendously and help you burst people more easily. And your last item is completely variable, so you have many options. You could go for defensive ones, like for example, we don't actually have it here, but you could go for Twin Guard, for example. You could go for Infinity Orb if you want even more burst damage. May not really be very necessary though. Horizon Focus if you are you want to use that long range, although also I don't think it's that great because AP Varus normally wants to get up a little bit more close and personal. Oceanid's Trident if you need anti-shielding, which I have had some matches where I need to build this because my team has no anti-shielding. Crown for the safety. If you want to lean more into the attack speed and on-hit kind of AP build, Rune's Hurricane is there for you. And then you also have Soul Stealer just for faster cooldowns. A lot of options you have here. So for the runes, you also have a lot of options. Now in this game, I went for Lethal Tempo because there was a lot of front line, so I wanted to have that attack speed just to melt the front line, as well as just easily attack them, right? Because I can easily charge up my Lethal Tempo on the front line. But if not, you can also go for Phase Rush just for the movement speed and the cooldown. But another great option is actually Fleet Footwork, and the reason for that is the 100% attack speed that you get allows you to apply 2 stacks of Blight very quickly, and get off a very quick burst combo. So a lot of options here. Of course, with the AP build, you can also go for things like Electrocute, First Strike, press the attack, Conquer, a lot of options. Varus, again, very flexible. But I think your best options are Lethal Tempo, Phase Rush, and Fleet Footwork. For the rest of the runes, it's standard ADC loadout, brutal for the attack damage, auto attack damage, giant slayer to counter the tanks, alacrity for more attack speed, and bone plating, for that extra defensive capabilities. And for the spells, I like to go for flash together with ghost. I think ghost really helpful for Varus's mobility, but of course, if you need things like cleanse, exhaust, you can of course go for those as well. But with that said, let's move on to our gameplay. Okay, so now having a look at our gameplay. So Varus, as I mentioned, is probably one of the best ADCs, if not the best ADC. I personally believe he's the best ADC. We'll have a tier list up soon, and I'm definitely gonna put him, at the TB top of the ADC tier list. I think Varus has been the best ADC for a long time now, like more than half a year. The last 2 ranked seasons, he's pretty much been the best ADC consistently, in my opinion. So yeah, he's still up there in my opinion. Corki, our lane opponent, is one of the better ADCs as well. So here we have a Blitzcrank Corki, which is a very high variable lane, which is like basically if Blitzcrank can get hooks and get Corki kills, it could be really bad for us. And if he can't, and then we are going to be in a really good spot ourselves. So Varus, another reason why I love playing Varus is because of his build diversity. You can pretty much play with any kind of support that you want, right? Like if you're playing with an enchanter support, the on-hit build or the kind of AP build that focuses on attack speed, like what I'm going for here, is great. Of course, you can also play these builds with tank supports as well. No problem with that. And if you have a tank support, you can also play builds like Vitality, like on hit works really well with of course enchanters, but tanks can work with that as well, like just like any other ADC. So really what I'm trying to say here is that Varus can play with any support. Everything kind of works. So here we're getting a lot of poke damage off onto Blitzcrank. Blitzcrank lands the hook onto Janna. Janna takes a lot of damage, has to pop the heal. I'm trading back onto the Corki. Corki flashes away. I pop the ghost to try to run them down, but unfortunately we don't get the damage off. Both of them are really low though, with Janna being low on my team, but I'm almost full health, so I'm in a really, really good spot. Now I'm pushing in the wave. Blitzcrank, I'm not sure why he's getting attacked by me, but I'm level 3, so I do have my W already. So I attack him twice, pop the W, pop the Q, just tapping, and down he goes. Now, interestingly, Shyvana and Rengar now here. So Shyvana flashes the wall. I'm trying to take her out before she can ult, which I do manage to do. However, that causes me to tank the tower, which then leads to Corki killing both myself and Janna. So in the grand scheme of things, I picked up 2 kills and a death, and Corki picked up 2 kills without a death. So I think Corki's in a little bit of a better spot at the moment, surprisingly, despite the fact that the sequence started out really well with us killing the Blitzcrank, but it kind of didn't end so well with myself and Janna dying to Corki. So yeah, overall it's kind of just alright, I guess. Me and Corki are relatively even in gold. He's slightly ahead of me by like 100 gold, so maybe not like completely even, but kind of about there. Janna though does have a decent lead against Blitzcrank, who of course did cop a death and lost out on golden XP from the minion wave. So he's definitely not in the best of spots right now. So here I'm trying to take out this control ward, but Blitzcrank uses the auto attack reset trick to instantly burst down the ward before I can get rid of it. And I don't want to face check the bush because Blitzcrank can knock me up and hook me with the glacial, and I would not be in a very good spot. So now that we've cleared the wave, we can kind of just back off a little bit. Nothing really much to buy. So we're just going to stick around. I mean, if you can afford something like a BF sword, it is worth backing to get BF sword. That's 40 AD in a mid-tier item. So that's going to be pretty good. But in this case, we don't really have gold for anything. So I really just, waiting for the next wave to come like so, and then just getting that. Blitzcrank obviously is waiting in that bush. Janna gets hooked. But I'm going to counter engage onto Corki with my ult and burst him down. Corki dashes away. We get damage onto both Blitzcrank and Corki. Somehow Blitzcrank survives. I flash auto him and Blitzcrank still survives, which is honestly really infuriating. It's like those 1 HP plays where the enemy deserve to die and they survive, but things like these happen, right? So here in the meanwhile, I'm just trying to force a plate, so we do get a plate for our efforts. Blitzcrank tries to hook but doesn't really land it. Myself and Janna are now out of mana. I'm gonna go grab this fruit just to restore my mana so that we can push out the next wave. I thought there was a slim chance that they stuck around, Seeing as previous time Blitzcrank kind of stuck around on like 1 HP, but this time they do end up being conservative and going back to base. So in this case, myself and Jenna were able to push in the wave and then get off a reset, getting my BF sword and a dagger. Corki maybe loses a minion or two to the tower, not a very big deal, but you know, we'll take the small win, right? So at this point you can see I'm slightly ahead of Corki, and by slightly I mean just very slightly, so we're basically even at this point. Here Janna is still with me. Corki, I'm not sure what he's doing there. I could have altered him, but I was so confused by his behavior that I of course didn't. And of course Dragon is also spawning, so Shyvana is in the area. Blitzcrank running straight towards us, knocks Janna up, and Janna ulti pushes Corki to safety out of my ult, which is very, very awkward. In the end, we do still get the kill. Shyvana, I'm not sure what she's doing either. Yeah, she lives on 1 HP for now, but we're able to kill her. But of course we are tanking Corki's E, so eventually we get our defensive shred and Corki easily finishes us off. But Rengar is able to finish the Corki off and clean up. In the meanwhile though, we have Darius mid lane, by the way, getting caught in the jungle. And I think this Darius is trolling, by the way. Number one, Darius mid lane is a complete troll pick, right? And number two, he is playing like a complete troll. He's going in like 1v however many multiple times. I mean, he was 3-0 prior to that death, right? So I guess he's like, I mean, he's not trolling, right? But the pick is kind of troll, and his gameplay is a little bit sus as well, to say the least, right? Of course, one of the main reasons why I went for AP Varus is really because my team had no AP, right? We have Mundo, Rengar, and Darius, all of which have no AP. So I'm gonna have to, I kind of was forced to pick an AP ADC or an APC, so I decided to go for AP Varus in this case. Of course, Janna is a support who doesn't really do very much AP damage. Now here, Blitzcrank goes all in on me, and yeah, I just get murdered under the tower, unfortunately. Yeah, I mean, that happens, I guess. Because as I said, right, Corki has the damage. He just needs a frontline, or he needs kind of like a tank to kind of you know, set up for him, and that's exactly what Blitzcrank did. Ran straight into my face, point and click knockup into the hook, which I could no longer dodge because I was knocked up. And then Corki in the meanwhile was just blasting me, and I just end up dying pretty much under a tower, which is not amazing.
Enemy turret destroyed.
Maybe I could have flashed when Blitzcrank showed on vision, like the moment he started sprinting, but yeah, my reaction time just a tad too slow for that one. So here now, they've taken down our tower, we're back in lane, but tower plates are still up for another 20 seconds. So here we're trying to get as many tower plates as we can before anyone shows up. Now Blitzcrank does show up, and we're able to get 2 plates. Poppy is now making her way here as well. And so is Corki, and so is Shyvana, and so is Galio apparently. So everybody, I'm popping the ghost to just try to run away. I'm popping the flash. I'm actually able to escape here. I get a huge ult, which spreads to everybody. And unfortunately, I get hooked by Blitzcrank. Like, I thought this like initially I was like, oh, I'm so dead, right? But then I pop my flash, I pop my ghost, and I'm actually able to get to a relatively good position. And I'm thinking, like, after I hit that ult and it spreads to everybody, I'm thinking like, whoa, this could be the fight that turns it all around. And I get hooked by Blitzcrank like a chump, and that doesn't quite happen. So unfortunately, we do end up dying, but my team is kind of continuing the fight. Darius is running down the Shyvana, gets the ulti onto Shyvana, gets the reset. Now he's going for Blitzcrank. Blitzcrank, yeah, he's not gonna survive. Oh, he does survive from a very timely gargoyles. And yeah, he does survive with a huge gargoyles. So now I pick up the blue buff. I'm going over to help my team. I'm staying in the bush. Janna is baiting. The Galio goes in. Unfortunately kills the Janna, but I'm gonna be able to trade back onto the Galio. Not too big of a problem there. Unfortunately, Janna Tornado a little bit mistimed, but you know, with the new Janna rework, you cannot actually decide when to release your Tornado. It goes off by itself. So I'm pretty sure Janna was trying to disrupt the Galio dash there, but because the Tornado released too early, Galio got knocked up and then dashed, and as a result, Janna gets hit by the dash and then just goes down. So here, I'm seeing that this is not a good fight, so I'm backing off. But Mundo ends up tanking for way longer than I had anticipated. And I was thinking, you know what, maybe I could have just free hit while Mundo was getting hit, and maybe I could have actually turned the fight. So I kind of ditched the Mundo there, and I'm not sure what Blitzcrank is doing. He just face checks. Janna just disrupts everything. I'm going to focus the Corki instead of the Blitzcrank, get rid of him first, and then Blitzcrank is going to be a free kill after that. There we go. Picking up the double. So Corki pretty much tried to Corki and the Blitzcrank pretty much tried to pull off the same stunt they did to me under tower when I got killed. But this time the difference is that I have Janna with me to kind of heal and shield me, so it's not so easy to just knock me up and then take me down. So of course Janna is going to be a huge help when it comes to these kind of scenarios because she can give you the heals, shields, and buffs. And also Iron Sensor of course gives me even more attack speed, which of course helps out a ton in this case, just to output more damage more quickly. So here we have Terminus, and we also have the Nashor's Tooth completed, still being an AD champion at this point in time. With the enemy team having multiple tank champions. Of course you have Galio, you have Poppy as well as Blitzcrank, although Galio is building full AP, so he's not really a tank champion. Corki, second item, Moral Reminder, is pretty questionable. Because Moral Reminder is not a very goal efficient item in terms of stats. It gives you only 25 AD, so it's not a very good early item. Here my team is kind of getting chased a little bit as the dragon spawns. The Rengar picks up the dragon, and now a fight is kind of breaking out. Now I'm just hitting Shyvana. Blitzcrank hooks me in, but there's no follow-up, so it's not a very big deal at all. I'm trying to finish the Galio. I now have a full stack lethal tempo, and I'm going in, flashing forward onto the Blitzcrank, just blasting him. Huge whiff on the arrow though. We get the kill on him, and then on Corki as well for the triple. And we can push a little bit. Poppy is the only champion left alive on the enemy team, but she's on the opposite side of the map. So this is going to be a pretty free tower. Getting tier 2 tower of the enemy is pretty nice. Gets you all of that bonus gold. Unfortunately shared with the Janna half. And now with that, we can make our way out. Now on the way out though, we pass by the enemy raptors. I was thinking of backing, but you know, we got these juicy raptors, we're going to pick that up. No one is going mid for the mid wave. They're all going to the side lanes, so I'm just going to take the mid wave as well, and then we can actually reset and get a huge buy, right? Off of a triple kill, a tier 2 tower, and some waves and some camps, right? Huge injection of gold allows us to complete our Riftmaker and another Am Tome as well. Now honestly, I feel that in this particular match, I think I could have gone for Runans in this spot instead of going for Deathcap, because in this case, like with so many frontline champions, like having the Runans to spread the blight stacks could have been really good to just pop them really easily. Here my team is kind of getting caught out, unfortunately, so that is not too great. Blitzcrank is running in. Hex Splash comes in from Janna to dodge the hook. And Baron is getting started off by the enemy team with the Rengar Dig. However, huge 3-man hook from Darius. I get a huge ulti onto basically everybody. Janna once again pushes everyone away, which is not really the best. And here I need to land this snipe onto Shyvana. There we go. We land the snipe and go legendary. And in the meanwhile, we're gonna also just steal the enemy jungle while we're at it. And the whole enemy team gets wiped out, with the exception of the Corki. And Corki, I don't think he can like 1v3, so we are going to force down this tower. And I don't think we can really force inhib because the respawn timers are like really short and the enemy team is respawning already. So instead, I'm gonna grab this relatively big top wave. And then we're gonna grab a reset. Rengar is soloing the Baron at the moment. I'm not sure if he's gonna be able to get it by himself. But yeah, here, not sure why I'm just trying to find my QSS, right? So I pick up my QSS and then I go for the Deathcap components, which once again, as I said, I think Runans here would have been a little bit better. But you know, here we have Deathcap. Now Shyvana jumps in, kills the Darius, is trying to steal the Baron. Somehow Janna, of all people, secures the Baron. And now Shyvana's picked up 2 kills, a huge price breaker. I'm like kind of stuck in the middle of all the enemies. I'm trying to flash to a better position, doesn't quite work. I'm able to kill Shyvana before I die, nearly killing the Galio. But yeah, I'm in a horrible position there. I tried to connect with my team, but Blitzcrank obviously cut me off and then hooked me away. And the rest of the enemy team kind of came, and only Mundo is left alive. Yep, Galio comes in with a taunt, and it's 1v3. Mundo cannot really do anything about it, and he does go down. However, in the meanwhile, we do have the Baron, so enemy team is trying to push in on the tier 2 tower, and the Baron minions are kind of helping hold them off. Here Darius is going in, hooks absolutely nothing, gets hooked himself instead, goes in 1v3 again, and dies. Yeah, so he's been doing that consistently. I mean, he was 3-0, right? And now he's like 6-8. So, yeah, I don't know about that one. But either way, we ourselves, we are in a decent spot. We're actually 14-5, and we almost have the death cap completion. Dragon coming up in 10 seconds, and we're actually on soul point. Although I would say Mountain Soul doesn't really matter, but we are going to make our way there. Shyvana and her team are kind of already in position, so I think the dragon's gone. I don't think we can do a thing about it because Rengar's too far away. Mundo is walking in. We're going to follow him in, and we're going to see if we can do anything about it. But actually, Dragon is only half done now. Shyvana is on top of me. I'm trying my best to kite her out, and you can see I'm kiting all around and trying to take her out. She is able to escape. Corki secures the dragon, but we kill Corki. Now we're getting knocked out by Galio. Galio is not going for the taunt on me. I'm free hitting him in the meanwhile. He goes down to Rengar, and we take out basically the whole enemy team aside from Shyvana. Popping the fruit just to get the health. And my team is now going on to inhib, and maybe we can end the game now. They destroyed the inhib before I really even reach. And unfortunately, there's the Nexus Shield, so we cannot really end right now because Nexus Shield is a little bit too OP. So instead, we're going to push in the top lane, which now has a wave. Shyvana, yeah, I don't think you want to be there. I'm just going to ult her, we can take her out, and then using this top wave, we can now go for the game end since there's no one to defend. There we go. So I'm going to leave you guys with the stats as usual. Thank you guys so much for watching the video, and goodbye.